Hello everyone, and welcome back to camp. Sorry for me being away for so long, I just had some stuff to do. I just want to say thank you so much for amazing support in the time I've been away. I really appreciate it. Uh, but if you haven't done this already, hit the subscribe button, show that like button, support the channel. If you have a story of your own, please consider sending it my way, so I can narrate it here on the show on the channel. Now, without all that out of the way, get into the stories. I have some new personal horror stories for you. And today is Friday the 13th, so which time is better to share some stories today? So today's story, the first today's story, I remember it a few days ago. I remember I was driving from my hometown when I was about 12 or 13 years old, so almost 20 years ago. And I was on my bike riding to the town I previously lived, which is like 3 kilometers away or something like that. So I was in my new town, riding to my old town, and I was riding uphill when all of a sudden I see another biker coming towards me. Not that unusual since I was on the biking path, but something weird about it. It was a kid also, and I could from a distance see that he wanted to slow down and wanted to talk to me. So as soon as he approached me, we both slowed down and stopped. And he looked at me and said, "Don't I know you?" And I was like, "Yeah, you look familiar." And he said, "Yeah, your name isn't that Jacob?" I was like, no, it's Dean." "Oh," he said, "sorry, must be a mistake." "Yeah, no, that's okay." Then he got on his bike and drove away. I drove on my merry way as well, but I always wondered, who was that kid and why did he choose to stop? Did I really look like someone named Jacob, or did we actually knew each other but we couldn't remember, or was it a glitch and it was from another universe? Still to this day, I don't know. The second scary story actually comes from a few years ago when I was in Sweden with my father and my stepmother. We were driving in the middle of the night looking for some moose or elk, and we couldn't find it. So we were driving home in my dad's minivan, Ford Ducato, and he had bought some light projectors. I think that's what they call them, big headlights that he had at the top of his car and some in front of his car. So if he put them on, then he will have massive light. But he only had the normal light on at this time. But as we were driving home in the middle of the night, it was like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., something like that. It's pitch black outside. We were driving along some wooded area, I remember. And it was just on a normal paved road. When all of a sudden a car come driving up behind us. Again, it was not unusual since it was Sweden and we have seen cars in the middle of the night sometimes. But this car was different. There was something very wrong about this car. Well, first of all, he drove very close behind us, like very, very close. Then he turned on the long light and almost blinded my father. I remember him being very annoyed, and my wife is driving. She has the car and driver license, so when I'm in the passenger seat and another car does that, I know how irritating it is, even for the one who's sitting in the passenger seat. But at that time, when I was driving my father, I was in the back seat, and my stepmother was in the front seat. And they were both blinded by this guy. I didn't notice it that well. I noticed he had the the long light on, but then he turned it off. My dad was like, thank God, what the hell's wrong with him? Then he turned it on, and off, on and off. Not like a blinking way, but it was like with small pauses, you know. And my dad got really pissed because then he turned on the headlights again, just the long light, and my dad pulled over. It's like, and he waved him. I believe he waved him so the car drove past him, because he was not dealing with that. Then he drove right behind that car and turned on the projector lights, so this massive beam of light just hit that car right in the end and blinded the driver, because he was annoying my dad. It's not something he usually does, but he was just so pissed because the driver has blinded him for God knows how long, about a kilometer or something like that. And it's very, very dangerous. If you have a car, you know how dangerous that is. Even if you're in a minivan, you can still be blinded very, very badly, especially in a wooded area. So my dad did that, and the driver immediately pulled over. So did my father, ready to confront him. But it was only like 5 seconds. But the driver didn't do anything. He didn't come out. He just sat there. And I don't normally see my dad scared. I will not say he was like scared, but he was on edge and not at ease at all. It was unnerving, and we immediately just drove away from there, out and past the car, just headed home. The car did not follow us. It was very weird and very uneasy. And I don't know what that car wanted. Hopefully. And thank God I never knew. Alright. This last story is from when last year, when my wife and I were on our first vacation in a summer house. Hopefully you know what that is. If you don't, it's a little house you can rent for a week or so. Just to have a little vacation with you and your partner or someone else. Me and my partner have been together for 10 years now. And we have been married for 5. And it's actually 11 years this year we've been together. So we decided that last year we decided it was time to have our first summer house vacation. So we rented a house and we drove down there. And it was a very nice drive. We were talking, having fun, laughing, listening to some awesome music. Rock mostly. Remember, I was looking out the window and the weather was beautiful. A little windy, but almost no clouds. The sun was high, the sky was blue. It was just very, very nice. And it was very hot also. I remember we were driving on the highway. And not the highway, the motorway, sorry about that. And we come past a lot of signs. And just before we headed under a bridge, there was a sign. I believe it was a sign with 2 cars showing you cannot pass each other. And just before we passed it, I just looked at it, and all of a sudden it glitches right to the side, just for an instant, and then backwards, out to the left, just like a computer glitch. It was really like seeing a glitch at the computer. It was so weird. It just felt, in that moment, felt so strange and so odd. I did not tell my wife because I did not needed to ruin our vacation, and I have not told her since, and I don't think I need to. Well guys, that was today's stories. I hope you liked them. If you did, then hit that subscribe button and that like button. And thank you so much for tuning in to today's story. We'll see you all later.